on safety. A big portion of safety when you go home with your baby is sleep safety. So the recommendation is that the baby stay in the same room as you, but on a separate sleep surface. A bassinet or a crib in your room is the ideal place for the baby to be. We always recommend back to sleep. So when the baby is sleeping and is not being observed the entire time, so when you're sleeping, babies should be placed flat on their back in order to sleep. The only thing that should be in the crib or the bassinet with the baby is a fitted sheet and the baby. So if you see a nurse or the practice in the hospital of swaddling the baby while they're here, it's a different environment at home. We don't recommend swaddling at home, and that's to help prevent SIDS. The reason that we swaddle in the hospital is when they are initially born, we do have to help them to maintain their temperature. That's something that they learn over the first 24 hours of life, and so we swaddle to keep them warm. In the NICU, our babies are kept on monitors as well, so the issue of having the blanket come up is not an issue because we can be able to tell based on the monitor, based on their vital signs, what's happening with them. But at home, you don't have that luxury. So the recommendation is that you put the baby in enough clothes to keep them warm. So usually a diaper shirt and then a long sleeve sleeper. And then sleep socks are wonderful. You can get the ones that zip up. You can get the ones that are the Velcro swaddles so that there's no extra material that comes up around the baby's face. Place the baby on their back in the bassinet, so there should be no pillows, no extra blankets, no stuffed animals, no bumper pads, nothing extra in the crib of the baby. We also recommend placing the baby towards the bottom of the bed, bassinet or crib, so that their feet are touching a boundary. Babies instinctively like to wriggle around, they like to move until they find a boundary to be against. So if they're already there, they're going to move less and they'll feel more secure. To prevent flat spots on their head, the other thing we recommend is to alternate the side of their head that you place them on. So if you would always like them facing you in the bed, then you're going to flip head on one side one time, and then after the next feed, you'll put the head on the other side of the bassinet so that they can face you, if that's what's comfortable for you. You don't want to use any wedges or any positioning aids in the crib with them. So if you place their head one side and you come back and it's the other side, there's not too much you can do about that. So try your best to alternate head position. Supervised tummy time is a great idea every day. So start out with little short bursts, 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, as long as it's supervised. So if baby is having a nap on your chest, if they're laying beside you on a blanket on the floor, as long as they're being watched, it's really great for neck muscle development and to prevent flat spots on their head. SIDS prevention, so the sleep position is huge for SIDS prevention. The other thing is no smokers around the baby. So if you can keep your home a smoke-free environment, even secondhand smoke, third-hand smoke that's coming from clothes, jackets, anything like that is best to keep away from the baby. That has really been shown to increase the risk of SIDS. Car seat safety. So all of our babies will have their car seats checked before they leave the nursery, and that is whether their straps are tight enough and whether the buckles are in the correct position for the baby. Some babies that meet certain criteria will need a car seat test before they leave the nursery, and all that involves is placing the baby properly in their car seat and then hooking the baby up to an oxygen monitor and monitoring the baby for 90 minutes to make sure that they can keep their oxygen saturation up, their heart rate doesn't drop, and that they basically can keep their airway open for the 90 minutes. Car seats are intended to be used for transportation only. Your baby should never sleep in the car seat. If they fall asleep in the car and you arrive somewhere and you put the car seat down somewhere, take them out of the car seat to sleep. There is a risk of a baby being in a car seat for too long and positionally occluding their airway, and that would be a bad thing. Also, if you're going shopping, if you're going to the mall and if the baby is in the car seat for a long period of time, it's best to take the baby out and lay them actually in the stroller and not use the car seat for that extended period of time. If you're going to use the car seat, take the baby out, hold the baby, put the baby in a carrier, have breaks in between so that the baby is not in that reclined position for so long. And it is recommended for all parents that they take a CPR course. Any parent that has a child, a small child, and especially our little preemies in the nursery or babies that have had a more complicated length of stay in the nursery, it's a great idea for anybody who is caring for the baby, so mothers, fathers, grandparents, babysitters, anything like that, to have CPR.